Hello and welcome back to Oracle TV's Halloween special. My name's Carrie Kirkpatrick and I am now joined by my second guest of the evening, the incredible TJ Higgs. Or Tracy, as we also call you.
Yes. Either is fine.
Yeah, so welcome to Oracle TV studio here this Halloween. Well, it's just leading up to Halloween, isn't it?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's lovely to be here.
Well, it just felt so right because there's been so much build up of energy, hasn't there? We've had two shoots already in the past couple of weeks, and so it's as though we were suddenly kind of meant to meet, and then there's loads of filming going
know what
on.
They're doing, don't
Yeah.
they? We don't, but they do.
I last saw you on Saturday at the Mind, Body, Soul exhibition. How was it there for you, Alexandra Palace?
It was amazing, and it was also sold out as well. So people were sort of queuing down the corridor. So next year I'll definitely have a bigger room so that more people can get in. But I met some wonderful people, and some people that had never connected with spirit before managed to do that as well. So I was really pleased for them as well, because just the way they light up once they know they can actually do it. And there were some working mediums there as expected, and just gave them a few tips and fine points. And just so many people that from so many different walks of life as well there. So it was really good experience.
Because people are used to seeing you on mainstream TV, in the media, fronting TV shows, and also working with Colin, who we're going to talk a little bit more about in a moment. But it's easy to sort of forget that in fact a lot of your work is also about working with people one-to-one, helping them, but helping other mediums, spreading that gift.
Absolutely.
So that all kind of ripples out.
Yeah, well, the more of us working, the better the world will be. That's my philosophy. So I have my teaching centre obviously in Hertford, so I work from there, and I work all over the country. I've taught all over the world. I'm just so lucky, I've been in the right place at the right time. So
wow, exactly. And for you, were you always a medium as a child? Or did it suddenly come to you a little bit later in life?
Oh, I was definitely born like this, but I thought everyone could do what I could do, so I wouldn't say to you that's a black skirt, because I assume you're wearing a black skirt. So a lot of the colours I was seeing around my dog particularly, if she was blue, you just didn't touch her because it meant she was moody and she would bite. And if she was green, it was okay. And I always remember my brother Colin, not Fry, I have a brother Colin, and he would always play with her while she was blue, and she would bite him. It's a Jack Russell, so she'd bite him. And it wasn't until I wrote my book and I was talking to him about it, and he said, "What do you mean the dog was blue? The dog was brown and white. It wasn't blue, Trace." So I just guess I learned to shut it down though, because you do feel a bit of a freaky person, And then when I had my children, it quietened down a little bit. But then my ex-husband was in the military. And he used to say that he was in his office all day, but then I'd see him in different things. I saw him jumping out of a helicopter one day, and when he came home I said, "You were in a helicopter today?" And he just looked at me and sort of like, "Don't be so stupid, I was in my office." And it wasn't until after we left Northern Ireland that he actually told me that it used to freak him out a little bit that I was actually, he was doing that, and I knew what he was doing and I wasn't supposed to. So
because it was top secret, basically.
Yeah.
That's a bit unfortunate if you're in a top secret job and you're married to somebody like Tracy who knows everything you're doing. Don't even think about having an affair, because that's not happening.
You only got to get another woman's number, and I know. I freaked a few people out along the way with that one.
yeah, pretty cool to have, that tool in the toolbox though, really, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So I've kind of been like this all my life. My pops died when I was very young, like 2 and 3, and obviously for me he wasn't dead. He was still in the living room, and people used to sit on him because he was in his chair, and I used to scream. So, and my mother is Irish Catholic, so you can imagine her thoughts.
It didn't go down very well.
No. And we actually don't. We're not in each other's lives because of that, really. Other things as well. Life gets in the way. But pretty much she had a devil child. So and with these eyes and what I could do, it's like there was no hope for the poor woman. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! But you see, thankfully, you didn't accept the label of devil child, because we know that you're actually working for spirit. And I mean, you do work within the spiritualist church as well, do you? Or have you done so? Because there is sometimes this interesting kind of division yet bridge between the spiritualist church and its association with Christianity and God, and then other sides of mediumship where it's all a little bit woo-woo and scary. And then by the time we get over to witchcraft,
well, it's,
lost cause,
about your cauldron in your garden, and you're kind of like, we'll stay away from her.
But you're very interesting, really, when I've discovered talking to you before, because you kind of bridge all of these different areas, don't you?
Yeah, I don't have a religious doctrine that I follow. I don't follow anything. I'm not a spiritualist either, which a lot of times when people find that out about me, they're sort of, well, you can't be a medium unless you're a spiritualist. But the people I communicate with that have passed over are all denominations of religion. So I don't see why I should be one or the other. But as I said when we had the chat, if I had to be a religion, if it was compulsory, it would be more pagan, because that makes sense to me. You know, they're working with the earth, they're working with the nature spirits, you know, the spirits that have passed over. And I know sometimes in witchcraft, you know, I've had what I get with the spiritualists, sort of like, because I'm not a medium, because I'm not, you know, in the SNU and all these sort of things. I also then get from the witches, because they say you can't communicate with people that have passed over. Not all, but you know, there's the small pockets. But then if I talk about invoking a goddess, that's okay. But obviously the goddess is coming from the spiritual realm as well. So none of it ever made sense. So I ended up going out on my own, you know, and I worked with a beautiful witch. In fact, I used to do my readings in her basement of her shop. And she said, if I stopped doing my mediumship, she would like to train me so that I could go on to be a high priestess, which I thought, wow. And she is a very powerful, beautiful witch, you know. And I won't ever use the term white witch, because I don't believe you should be termed white. Or, you know, because witches are witches, and it's the intention that is black or white or grey even, you know. But she was amazing, and I used to be privileged. I think it used to freak her out a bit, but because she said no one could read her. And then I used to dream about her, and I remember seeing a ritual that she did, and I won't go too much into it, obviously, because you know that they're private and personal. But the things that I saw were pretty amazing. And when I went into work at the weekend, I can feel that cold breeze coming in.
Yes, so did I. Hello. We haven't been introduced.
Yes. Not 3 times. But no, when I went into work, you know, into the shop, I shouldn't call it work really, but I described what I saw, and she said, how did you see that? And I said, I could see you in this ritual, and I could see the trees, and I could see everything about it. And she used to tell me, well, you're wasted as a medium, but I don't think so.
No. It is interesting, isn't it? The labels and the boundaries that have been there within the different traditions.
Yeah. I do not like labels in life either, you know, and that goes to, you know, special needs and things. All of those labels just drive me crazy, you know, because people are people, you know, individuals are individuals, no matter where you're from or what your background or what your abilities are, or again, I hate the word disabilities. We're all the same. We've all come, our souls have come for a journey, you know, and for an experience, haven't they? So we shouldn't be put in little boxes with labels. I really don't like it.
No, and the difficulty is because a lot of these areas that we're talking about, from the paganism to witchcraft to psychism to the spiritualists, these have all been niche, alternative, minority cultural interests that people feel very passionate about, and they've gradually grown and they've all grown together like bubbles. And here they are. I feel as though they should all be part of one big bubble, but you're finding all these little membranes in between the bubbles where they're going, oh no, you're not one of us. Oh no, I stand for my independence and my freedom to practice, but not your way.
You can't do it like that. You have to do it like this. But I do it my way, and when I teach, I encourage every individual student to be individual. I don't want little TJ clones out there. I want them to be themselves, you know, no matter what their backgrounds are, because different backgrounds bring something different to their vocabulary, and their vocabulary is what spirit use for communication. So you need, or there would be spirit people that wouldn't come anywhere near me because of my background, or, you know, I've got Irish Catholic, divorce, you know, all of these sort of things that maybe some people in the spirit world wouldn't find, you know, me an easy person to communicate with. And I'm quite fast energy as well, so when I'm working with spirit that are slow, you know, and quieter and calmer, I find them more difficult on a stage. In my room it's easier, you know, because we have time to work with them, but then another medium that would be on stage would find that person so much easier than I can, you know.
So does there need to be a resonance between those spirits coming through and the medium? Is that why we need so many mediums?
Absolutely, because
one of each different flavour.
Exactly, because our vocabulary, whatever is in your mind, is what spirit is working with. They cannot give you anything that hasn't gone through this brain. So it's like they Google in your head. You know, if we think of it in modern terms, they're Googling in your mind. They're trying to find out what you know. And if you don't know it, they will encourage you to watch a television program or read a book that's going to give you the evidence and the information.
Oh, yeah.
With Psychic Private Eyes, I was reading Birdsong by Sebastian Folkes. Amazing book. And you know, it's a love story as well, isn't it? But I was fascinated by the First World War and where they were in the trenches. That part of it really fascinated me more than the love story, which is a bit silly, you know. But then,
was that because it resonated with you in a past life level as well?
Possibly, but I then was put on Boulogne Beach and told, now make a connection, because we're filming Psychic Private Eyes.
I see.
And then the book is going back through my mind, and I could literally feel lice on my arms. I felt I was in the uniform. I felt I wanted to run away, and that was the story of the man, that he'd gone AWOL, and he was actually shot, you know, as a deserter. And so his story was part of that book. So I'm just rereading the book in my mind and giving that evidence, you know. So that's how they work. So the things that I don't know and that possibly you know. So the spirit person would choose the right medium. And that's why there's faster mediums, slower mediums, you know, of all different walks of life, because we're all valid. You know, no medium is better than another. We are all the same. Some of us are more experienced, but like an athlete, you know, some of us could run 100 metres, some can run 1,000 metres. It doesn't mean that you're, you know, the worst person because you can only run 100 metres. You can still do that.
Just maybe more well versed in communicating it through, whereas some people might hold it back. Because I was just saying to Liz how ever since Saturday, I had Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend going through my head constantly, and I must admit it was starting to get on my nerves after a few days. And I just thought, oh, I better go and get my mum's jewellery out and get her diamond rings on.
See, and that's a message for me as well. Diamonds Are a Girl's on a different level, not the jewellery, something else. And
Saturday was when we met and did the interview. So there's another synchronicity there.
An ex-boyfriend actually asked if I could do my trance and turn into Marilyn Monroe. So I said, well, if you could turn into Elvis or someone better looking, then I might. So
exactly. Cheeky.
Idiot. Oh.
So you were talking about Psychic Private Eyes, which is one of the television series that you starred in. Well, it was about you. You were the main medium on it.
There was three of us.
Oh, there's three of you. Is that the one you did with Colin?
Myself, Colin and Tony Stockwell.
And Tony Stockwell.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And that went out on, which channel was that?
It started on CBS. What was Zone Reality that became CBS. But we've been on the Crime Channel, the Bio Channel, I think Pick TV. I think every sort of internet channel, you know, on the Sky spectrum has picked up the show. And we've been all over. I was working in Denmark, and I'd put the TV on just for background noise sort of thing. And I was in the bathroom and I was getting ready for bed and I was brushing my teeth and I thought, that's my voice in the other room. How am I talking in the other room? I'm thinking, out of body, what am I doing? And when I went in, I was on the TV, Psychic Private Eyes. And
oh my goodness.
I think it was Slovakia or Slovenia, so sorry if you're watching from there. We were the number 2 TV show. So there's a lot of fans from over there, and the Czech Republic as well, a lot of fans from that sort of area. And we were the number 2 after football. So football was number 1 and we were number 2. So that's not bad.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, in fact, my third book, True Spirit, has been translated into Czech.
Really?
Which is when you see your words, and at the moment, currently, it's being translated into Japanese. I can't wait to see that.
That's incredible.
What an honour is that?
That's incredible.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see
that.
Well,
I hope they'll get you to go out there to sort of do some signings and things like that.
That would be quite. I'm really funny about my food, so.
It's just straight lots of packets of instant noodles with you.
Yes. Well, I don't really like noodles either.
Baked beans.
Baked beans.
Baked beans.
I'll get arrested at the airport. Medium arrested for a baked beans haulage. Why is she doing this? I do think that there's quite a fast food chain over there, so I might have to live on that. I'm not going to promote them on the television.
No. But you have a new series coming up, haven't you? And I know you can't tell us all about it.
I can't really tell you a lot about it, Carrie.
Do we know what channel it's going to go out on?
There are 2 channels at the moment. So,
okay, they're sort of competing for it, are they?
There'll be, yes. But there's 2 shows as well, so... Yes, I'm filming a pilot for one of them in February.
Okay.
So which will have an interactive audience as well. So
that's amazing.
Keep an eye out on my website and my Facebook, because we'll be inviting people to come and be part of my audiences as well. So
and what's your website address?
It's www.tjhiggs.com, and Facebook. TJ Higgs, Twitter, @Tracy Higgs, all those sort of things.
Yeah, so it's very, very easy to find.
Yeah.
So you can't tell us about that mum, except
No.
that it sounds very mysterious and very exciting. Are you
It's new. It's something new to the way of working as a psychic and a medium, you know. So, yeah.
Are you allowed to tell us about the other one?
No.
Oh, it's not fair.
I can't tell you. It has to be signed on the dotted line.
Fine.
Yeah, but the pilot will be interactive.
Yeah.
The other one will be kind of what you're used to from me.
Yes,
say like that. Yeah. Whereas the other one is new to me being on television. So yeah, very interactive.
Very exciting.
Yeah,
very exciting.
Yeah.
And well, you know, because obviously we were talking about Psychic Private Eyes when you worked with Colin and Tony.
Yeah.
Both incredible mediums in their own right.
Yes.
And but Colin, sadly, has passed this year.
Yeah.
Not so long ago.
Yeah.
But he's still very much a close energy around you, isn't he?
I'd like to think. When he passed, I did a eulogy kind of, if you like, for a magazine. They asked me to write. And you kind of go back over your life and how you ended up where you are, and it's his fault that I ended up touring. It's his fault I ended up on stage in front of, I think one of the audiences was 3,500 people.
Oh
and
my
I was
God!
Sort of like,
And Colin,
I'm supposed to do
Colin
this.
just made you go and do it.
Yeah. He was over. We'd started filming Psychic Private Eyes, and I didn't know him. You know, I knew who he was, but I'd never met him. And we were doing this photo shoot in a cemetery in Cardiff, and the boys were on tour in Cardiff. So I was staying over to do the photo shoot the next day. So as we're sitting, you know, after their show, and he's having a glass of red, his favourite. He just said, "You're coming on tour with me." And I was like, I don't think so, I can't do that. And and that was it. He decided, and I was flown to Ireland a couple of weeks later, and that was it. I was on tour with him, you know. Yeah.
Wow.
I know, that is a bit. And I remember sitting backstage, and they used to play the Best of British, you know, so you'd hear Tony, you'd hear Colin, and I just sat in my dressing room thinking, that's Colin Fry, that's Tony. What am I doing here? I've got to go out and work with these men, you know, because I fell in love with them at the Three Mediums. I was in the original audience of the first Three Mediums, and I
that'll be them now.
Yeah. 2 rings, 2 rings, darling. But no, I remember sitting there and thinking, oh my gosh, how do they do that? Because I only did psychic readings really there, and my mediumship was there, but I didn't. Not that I didn't trust spirit, I didn't trust myself to get it right, you know.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a few years later, I'm then one of the Three Mediums with Derek and Colin. You know, how did that happen? You know, Colin Fry, that happened. Yeah, he just decided that's what I was going to do.
But his energy was very playful, wasn't he? He had a mischievous.
Yes, very mischievous.
Mischievous energy about him, and still does, I think.
Yeah.
Still does. And I think we might have a lovely picture of Colin and that we might be able to bring up in just a moment, which is a lovely picture of you and Colin. And I remember when you sent it through to me, I got this instant hit. It sort of made me feel quite emotional because I saw this closeness between the two of you. It
was...
I feel like you were reunited, and it doesn't surprise me to hear that he kind of said, right, that's it, you're coming with me almost, because it's looked to me from that photo, which I think we're going to bring up in just a moment, it looked to me as if you'd kind of like brother and sister.
Yeah, a lot of people that have seen these photos from the photo shoot have said that we're like siblings, and there are some photos from that day. You could probably see that I'm trying not to laugh and he's trying not to giggle, because the whole day was just spent laughing. It really was, and he would just relax me like that, you know. And there's a few shots where, and I have shared them with people, you know. I've shared it on the Facebook, because it's not to show off that I knew Colin Fry. I wanted the fans that love him to be able to see that part of him as well. You know, the giggliness, the real man. You know, he's a medium, but he's also a man. You know, and with a wicked sense of humour.
I know, he's just got this mischievous, it's almost Puck-like kind of energy around him, isn't it? He's a naughty boy. And he also really did a lot of work with dogs as well, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely. His dogs were his children, you know. I've never known him without dogs, you know, and I think they ended up to about 14 in Spain, you know.
14,
so,
wow.
Yes, quite a lot of dogs. But he always had them, and then he would take them out on tour as well. Because, and I can understand that, because it can be quite a lonely place, even though you've got an audience. The audience go home, and then you're in a hotel room, and then you're in the car again. So towards the last sort of years of him being out on tour, when he was touring alone, he would have, I believe it was Miss Honey. He had one of his French bulldogs out on tour.
Oh, lovely,
yes.
lovely. We love French bulldogs. And also, I think what really struck me was the fact that with the grace with which he met his illness, and I mean, I'm not saying I was privy to his private conversations, but he's obviously got a public profile.
Yeah.
He did an interview almost immediately when it went public.
Yeah.
It was a very uplifting, positive interview that was there to not only offer support to people that would have been shocked and upset to hear of his illness, but also that might have been feeling that kind of grief from other illnesses or people passing to that illness. And I just thought that it was so brave, but not brave in a way of like, it was just so like kind of dispelling the fear.
Yeah.
And he was saying, I'm not afraid of meeting this change.
But he had, you know, that's him, because we can't work as a medium and then say we're afraid of death, because we're not. You know, I don't really want to go yet, but I won't be afraid when the time comes, because I know where I'm going, and I absolutely know where I'm going.
Yeah.
And my children know that there is no death, and they know that they'll still be able to connect with me and communicate with me. So I think it was a beautiful thing that he did by sort of saying, well, I'm not afraid. And I think one of the last messages I got from him before he went into the hospice was that he was going to put his hands in, well, he put his life now in God's hands. And it was just
beautiful.
Yeah, and he did. And he was surrounded by, you know, the people that love him as well. Yeah. And, you know, he and his brother Glenn have a great relationship, you know, and there were other people there that looked after him and loved him. And, he truly went out feeling very loved.
And he was touring right up to the last possible minute, you know.
I know.
I was seeing notices on Facebook going, I'm going to try and get as many shows in as possible. Yeah. And, you know, it's just a real trooper.
He did. Well, I watched him at Gravesend when he announced it to the public, and I went along to support him, because you know, he was coming out and sort of telling everybody. And he broke down on stage, and he was talking to me saying, I love you, and I said, right, that's enough now, you need to get on with the show, do you know, just now, the show's got to go on. But he did have Queen playing The Show Must Go On, and it was just, and my son Ryan was with me, and I was just holding onto his hand. And, you know, he was amazing. You know, we all complain, don't we? You know, I've got a headache. I'd never forget, a spirit man sort of gave me that jolt. I had flu, and not man flu, just girl flu. And, I had the flu, and I was in the dressing room, and I was looking at my eyes. My eyes were bright red, you know, so red and sore. And I remember looking in the mirror and saying, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And a spirit man just appeared behind me, and he said, it's all right for you, I'm dead. And those were his words. And I was like, do you know what? Yeah, man up, Tracy. Do you know, all that's wrong with you is this flu. You know, you're going to go home to bed tonight. This man's missing his family. But the same with Colin. Do you know, he didn't have a pity party. Do you know, a lot of people didn't realise how ill he was. And when I saw him, so that was at Gravesend, and then I saw him in Clacton, not too long, you know, apart, these shows. And when I watched him, I couldn't hear his voice anymore. I could hear Magnus. I could hear his guide. Yeah. And every time he turned sideways, obviously he had his hair very cropped close, I could see Magnus, and you could see that the guidance had just taken over. Yeah. And for me, you know, that was beautiful as well, because he just worked. And then the last time I saw him was at Hayes, again about a few weeks later. And I just thought, you know, if you're sitting here and you're watching this man who clearly is not going to be with us, you know, we were praying for a miracle that he was going to survive this. And he knew, but he was still being brave for everybody. But if he can do that and still make a connection and still give evidence that life continues, none of us have got anything to complain about.
Yeah.
Have we?
Yeah.
Stunning man,
Absolutely.
And look what he's done for spiritualism, whatever word you want to put into this. Every medium that is working in this country right now needs to say thank you to him, because the Sixth Sense opened the doors to the modern world of medium, if you like. I know we've had the late greats as well, and I'm not dismissing Doris and the two Dorises, as Colin used to call them, but with the Sixth Sense, it opened a whole new world.
It made it acceptable. It reached out to thousands more.
And how many people were given some form of healing from that show, And you wouldn't know me if it wasn't for Colin Fry, so you wouldn't know Tony Stockwell if it wasn't for Colin Fry. So he and all the others, that we've trained and that have gone along the way, all should thank him for what he did. So yes, he was 53 when he passed, but what a life and what a legacy, what a legacy to leave behind.
And I think on that note, I suggest that we light a lovely candle for Colin. I've got some lovely oil I'm going to put on it here, because I think, and then I'll pass it to you to hold as well, and we'll put a blessing on it. I just want to say a huge big thank you to Colin Fry for inspiring us all and educating us about mediumship and opening those doors through the media for mediumship.
Yeah.
And so much more that's rippled out from that.
And thank you, Carl, and thank you for my life as it is, because my life wouldn't be as it is without you. And thank you for the legacy. And I hope I continue to do my work, and hope you're proud of me.
Yeah, and may your light continue to shine brightly.
I'm sure it will.
The
brighter the better, with a few sparkles, of course.
Absolutely. A little bit of glitter. Wow. It's, what have you got coming up in terms of like shows and things that people can come and see you?
I've got a new tour starting next year. I've still got a few dates this year as well, but I'm being launched again next year on a bigger tour. So which I'm looking forward to. I'm going to be doing some teaching. Well, I'm going to come here and we're going to do some things. So
we're going to do some goddess work.
Yes. And I'm going to do some interactive teaching with the help of Carrie, so you'll be able to work with me without being in the room with me, which will be quite nice. Really lovely. Looking forward to that.
This is how it's all going with the multimedia, isn't it? Because obviously the live shows, absolutely fantastic. This is what people want to do. But if you're not in that part of the country and people don't have the opportunity to like maybe go all the way across the country or from Ireland or down from Scotland to London, etc., then the interactive options are really good. And this is something that's just now opening up and burgeoning.
I'm working with somebody at the moment, and we're hoping to have all of my shows, all of my live shows, live streamed as well. So you'll be able to watch. So even if you just think, I don't know if I'd want to be in an audience with her, I don't know how she works, you can watch and you can see if you like the way I'm working, and then you can come along to to see me live. So
it just makes it that much more accessible, isn't it?
Yeah, and hopefully the more healing. You spoke with Liz, didn't you, about the healing that mediums do, and healing, as you know, isn't always hands-on. It's just a word. At Mind, Body and Soul, I just spoke to a young man there, Patrick, and I just literally, I didn't even realise that I'd given him this advice, and he's contacted me since, and he said, "You changed my life on Saturday." And you think, wow, all I did was give him a few obviously inspired words, and obviously I meant every word of it, but I didn't realise, and I think that's something I'm guilty of. I forget that I am helping people, because I don't do it with ego, so I don't think, look absolutely. What I've done. And then when somebody sort of takes their time then to contact you and say, you've changed my life, you've inspired me, it's like, wow, job done, so
but I'm not at all surprised, because your energy is so strong, and especially on Saturday you were doing, first of all you had the long workshop in the morning, and then there was a little bit of a break, and then the mediumship demonstration, so you were like firing on all cylinders, so this hall was full of thousands of people and lots of amazing spiritual people, and there was Tracy shining there, but it's just sort of I think that if you're in the right place at the right time in that energy, you just become amplified. But you've got a very strong energy anyway. It is quite fast, as you said. And I can really resonate with that, because I can kind of go on that speed too. But it was just such an incredible event, and I could see that sort of energy, that pumping forward. And I've talked to you about this before. Do you find, how many, was it the main 4 that were with you that day? Because when you came to the studio, and I said, I can sense 4 guides.
The boys. There is also a lady there, and she has given me her name at long last, but she looks like a hag. So so she was always the hag, and some of my students were like, well, you can't call her a hag, and I was like, but that's what she is. You know, she's a crone, really.
Yeah.
And she finally gave her name in trance as Paulina. So, but I still call her the hag. So, but she was, and if I'm to be serious, you know, she will come forward. You know, Paddy is just crazy. He just likes a giggle, but he's good for the newbies, you know, for the babies, because he brings like a mischief energy, you know. Yes. And then I have a Native American that can be. It depends what mood he's in, you know, and that sounds odd, doesn't it? Because but the spirit world is made up of us, and some days are good days, and it depends if Paddy lets him in, because if Paddy tries to keep them all out, then they do get a little moody.
So he likes to take over a bit, does he?
Absolutely, yeah. One minute I'll be talking like a Native American, and the next minute I've got an Irish accent with a Native American's face, and he will tell the students in the room, I'm still here, nobody's getting rid of me. And he calls that, I think he calls them the hi, how are yous, that's what he calls the Native Americans. And he calls Luke, who is my maybe more philosophy, more sort of sensible guidance. He calls him his nibs, and he'll be sort of telling them his nibs is trying to come forward, but I'm not letting him. And it's sort of when I come back, because I completely go into a deep trance.
Okay.
So I'm not aware of anything, because if I was aware, I'd get involved. So I kind of have that deal that I go completely, and I come back, and some of the things that he says, he gossips about me as well, Paddy. He'll tell them things about me. He's a bit naughty sometimes as well. So
you should have a word.
Well, the more you have a word with him, he's like a naughty child, the more he has to play. So it's better just to let him sort of, as long as you're wearing matching underwear, you're all right, really. Yeah. One of his favourite things.
I don't quite what to say to Paddy. Is this true?
It's very true.
So that's really interesting. Is this what you do when you're teaching people in a sort of more private environment? Or is this how you work on the stage as well?
I do. No. Well, it was interesting because at the Mind, Body and Soul, someone came up to me at the end and he said, you are a trance medium, aren't you? So I said, yeah. And he said, I kept seeing your face change while you were working. Yeah. And a little lady, she said, I saw that, but I wasn't sure what I was supposed to say, you know. So I am a trance medium, and the closer they get, the easier it is for the communication. So in fact, I'm teaching Halloween weekend. I'm starting tomorrow. I've got a beautiful trance group for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we're going to spend the weekend in that energy. So
goodness me,
really
I'd like to come and do that one of these days.
Well, I have a room set up especially for it. So, and as soon as, even people that aren't necessarily working as a medium, as soon as you go down those stairs,
yes, you're in that energy.
You can feel
because
it.
I would be really interested to see the comparison between that and doing the oracle of the goddess, which is what I was trained to do. Yeah. And so you do slightly go under, but it's sort of in that slightly hypnosis state. So you're sort of there, but you're just standing back a little bit.
Yeah, I go completely. Yeah. But when you first start being, developing as a trance medium, you are aware, and you're kind of like it's sort of 90% you with the communication, 10% spirit. But I go the full hog.
Is that not frightening, or are you just used to it?
I'm never.
Have you always done that?
Yeah, I've not been scared of any of it really. Yeah. I just think, well, the spirit world's made up of us, so why would anybody want to hurt me for what I'm doing? You know. Yeah. And I mean, sometimes Paddy, I'll say I'm only going to go for an hour, and then the feathers, as he calls them, have taken over, and I've been in trance for 3 hours communicating, and it's recorded as well. So, and you can hear that is definitely not my voice. I cannot, and I try and do an Irish accent to see if I could, because obviously my background, my mother's Irish, you know. So I try and I'm not going to embarrass myself and do it on TV. And I cannot do an Irish accent, and I try in front of my students, and they just laugh at me. But he has a full-on, and the thing is, I know it's a proper Irish accent because I have Irish students as well that have been, and I've done trance in Ireland. Now, if that was me faking
they would have told you. They would have told you,
yeah. So it's a pure Irish accent. So, and I suppose it must be in me somewhere for him to be able to find that, you know, because my mum used to speak to us in Gaelic, you know, when I was little. I can only remember sort of shut the door.
She did. She spoke to you in Gaelic. That's amazing, because that's a language. It's sort of slowly disappearing, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, my friend's daughter Sarah, she's training to be a teacher, and she can speak Gaelic. You know, Gaelic. It's amazing when because I'm always asking her, what's it? I mean, obviously you always know the naughty things to say, you know, and.
Tracy, I can't believe it of you. I can't believe it of you. Colin, maybe, but not you.
No, I can't blame him.
No. Yeah. Colin would. So we've really got the Celts in the house tonight. There's the Celtic witches, because I think you really are. You are really, aren't you?
Well, my mum's Irish. My granddad, my dad's dad is Welsh.
Yeah.
And there's also Scottish as well in the line. So I normally call myself a Celtic mongrel. So I'm a bit of all of it.
Yeah.
A little bit of English thrown in there somewhere.
Yeah. But with this time of Halloween and Samhain, how do you usually celebrate it? I mean, do you really feel spirit world coming closer, or is it just business as usual for you?
I do, and I know a lot of people are sort of, oh, really? Is the veil, is it easier to make the connections? And that's why I'm doing this weekend, and I deliberately chose this weekend for the trance and physical, because I do believe that spirit are closer. I mean, I believe that this is kind of like my new year, so sort of Saturday is the end of the year for me, and it's time for me to now start making plans for next year. And this Halloween, actually, a very lovely friend of our family, Tracy, who was a witch, passed over in August also. Yeah. So I will be in Epping Forest on Saturday evening, and we're going to do a ritual for her, and spread her ashes, and then go and eat and drink and be merry for her, which she'd very much love. Oh. So it's a bit of a ritual, which obviously I don't usually do, but if I was not sort of, if we didn't get to celebrate Tracy this weekend, then I do usually light candles, and I do very much believe that it's my new year. I really do, and I've always believed that, even before I knew why I would believe it, so it definitely resonates with me. And clear out, and like everybody, make your affirmations this weekend, write down what you want, and the way that the energy is right now with the moon, that we've just had another super moon, be careful what you wish for, and if you're using negatives at the moment, you'll be shown those negatives. So you've got to be positive this weekend. It's got to be, it's not, I'm not going to get that job, it's like, I'm going to get the best job for me, so and all the other things that you might like, you've got to be positive, because they're listening at the moment. So
and they'll give you what you ask for.
Exactly. Yeah, well, they'll give you what you're expecting, won't they? Yeah. Definitely.
Wow.
Which you knew.
Absolutely. Well, I'm just so excited, really, because I just want to talk to you for hours about sort of my mediumship experiences along the way, and how I kind of put that to one side and chose the other path. This is kind of really interesting. Absolutely. Yeah. And I thought it was funny when you said I don't normally do rituals, and I wanted to sort of butt in and go, you do now.
I think that's why you might be more back into my life.
We can do something about that.
Yes, I think they might. But I think it's, and obviously, and I as I say, I'm not saying this with any ego, but because of my position maybe in the medium world, then it's my job, isn't it, to sort of show people, witchcraft is not, because when people talk about warlocks and wizards, it's no, and like we talked about the Merlin the other day, didn't we? Merlin isn't a man with a beard, it's a group of people, and not many people know that, do they? Because when you say it, it's like, well, no, he's, it's a good TV show and things, so it's to share the knowledge, isn't it? It's for you to share your knowledge as the oracle, and me to share my can't speak now, my knowledge as a medium, and let's build that bridge, so that people, if people want to go and sit outside and sort of live in nature, work in nature, they're not feeling as if they're doing something wrong, because people like that are generally looked down as sort of like being a bit crazy, aren't they? You know? And personally, I wouldn't hug a tree, but I live right in front of a forest, and I love that energy. I love the fact that I can see an oak tree from many oak trees from my bedroom window. I love that. So I'm still feeling that energy. I just don't need to go and touch it, because the way my energy works, I can feel it from where I am.
Absolutely. And also, I think that sometimes people like to be very earthed and grounded. Yeah. So I find this, obviously, paganism being so diverse. Yeah. And I think in some ways the sort of worlds of mediumship and the channeling and the oracular work, you're kind of bringing the divine energies through. So it's quite a high vibration that you're bringing through. Yeah. And the thing is that one needs to try and ground afterwards, you see. Whereas the people who are maybe like not wanting to delve too much into the esoteric, mystical things and developing the skills might just be more listening to the earth energy and looking in Mother Earth and looking at the earth as goddess Gaia and just the goddess being the earth and sort of going back to that kind of more natural cyclical kind of way.
And that's
so obviously there's a huge range,
exactly. And it doesn't matter where you are or what you do. If it's good for you, then it's right.
Yeah.
Nobody should tell you shouldn't be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that, because it's a personal thing. Religion, however you want to express it, whether it is just to bless the earth and, like you say, worship God, that's your choice, and that should be kind of encouraged as well. But too many people you've got to be in that box, or you've got to be in. I'm not very good at boxes.
I think that I always want to start reading. So I've just been seeing images of you walking on a firewalk. Have you ever done that yet?
No, but I've been invited to.
Yeah,
and
I just want to tell her she's going on the firewalk, and it's like you're walking a new path. I think it's a massive big change.
And I keep being shown the Phoenix as well, so that totally makes sense. So my centre is the dragonfly, so I very much resonate with that energy.
Yes.
And a friend of mine sent me a photograph, and he said, I saw this and thought of you. And it's actually a crop circle, and it's a dragonfly and a phoenix next to each other.
Oh my goodness!
It was like, wow, why did you think of me? He just said, that's you. It's the newness.
Yeah,
and
there's this. This is absolutely, now is the time where it all absolutely takes off, and we're so glad that you've been able to join us and share some of this with us. So we've just got a few more minutes. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on my schedule, trying to be very organised today. We've got lots of guests to see. Before we do kind of say goodbye to you for the evening, is there anything that you would like to say to the viewers about maybe a little message or a little, not exactly a mediumistic message, or maybe a little tip of what they could do? I know you said a bit of affirmation, something about this time of year for Samhain.
Well, I think obviously because Samhain is very, well, as like I said, for me, the new year, the resolution, that kind of time, it would be a good idea to actually sit down and sort of make your own resolutions right now, and also just go back into your own energy and feel how you are, and don't let other people's negativity or even their positivity sort of pull you out of your energy, because sometimes somebody with really good energy can do the opposite to you, can't they? So just be aware of what is your energy, what's going on with you, and just make it your own your own energy right now. And anybody else's that's attached to you, let it go, clear it and let it go, and make a positive, sort of like point of doing that this weekend.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Tracy, for coming into the studio to see us, and we look forward to having you on more shows in the future.
Absolutely, I'd really enjoy that.
Lovely. Thank you once again, and I hope you have the most amazing Samhain, and celebrate the ritual for your friend in spirit. Now we're going to be going to a break quite soon. We're going to be back in a few minutes with another guest, and do stay tuned for our Halloween special. We're going to be here with you right the way through until midnight, so we'll see you soon.
I'm Della Farrant, and this is Oracle TV.
I'm Sarita Diesti, and this is Oracle TV.
I'm Della Farrant, and this is Oracle TV.
I'm Sarita DSD, and this is Oracle TV.
Welcome to Oracle Television. We are a digital broadcasting channel that specialises in promoting businesses and practitioners within the mind, body, spirit and esoteric world. The future of television is on the internet. The future of social media involves video. At the recent Facebook boot camp in January in London, the main message was that video had exploded in terms of the main way for businesses to promote themselves on Facebook in all areas of social media. The mind-body-spirit industry is now recognised as a growth industry, with many people now growing their businesses and wanting to reach out in the marketplace. Really, our primary focus is to help people who are already out there promoting their businesses by giving them really good video content, helping to get their message out so that we can marry the two worlds of internet television and the mind-body-spirit industry. Two growth industries, marry them together and create a very beautiful hub, a place where everybody wants to come and find the best content. I see video as a language, and really what we like to do when we're working with our clients is tune into them, understand where they're coming from. We need to make sure that the message is exactly right. We can do that for you. We can tailor that message so that when people watch it, you can keep their attention and guide them to your website. We love nothing more than making good promotional videos for other businesses. So if you would like to talk to us about promoting your business or service, then get in touch.